taught him not to feed the dog the coffee. What does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Hi, I'm Ashley and I review celebrity acting techniques. I have several already on my channel, everything from Maisie Williams to Michael Caine, so if you haven't seen them already, I highly recommend you check them out. But today, we are talking about Rachel Brosnahan. I love Mrs. Maisel so goddamn much. I grew up watching Gilmore Girls, so Mrs. Maisel was like a natural progression for me. It's like the sweary, Emmy bait Amy Sherman Palladino show that I deserve in my 20s. Yeah, Gilmore Girls was great, but like, what if there were F-bombs in it, right? Anyways, I stumbled upon this interview with Rachel Brosnahan. Maybe interview is a generous word. It definitely was product placement for Cetaphil, for which she is the face of, but nonetheless, somehow in this glossy magazine Cetaphil product placement, she dropped her Mrs. Maisel voice warm-up. And when I read it, my jaw fell to the floor. Guys, it's her fucking warm-up for Mrs. fucking Maisel. I was like, yes, please, I am going to have to try that. I am going to take one of those with a side of fries. So yes, this week I tried Mrs. Maisel's acting technique. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video to see our final scene because you guys might just like what you see. But also, picture Lorelai Gilmore saying fuck. Beautiful, right? Before we dive into Rachel Brosnahan's acting technique, I think it's worth mentioning that The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has its own directing and shooting style that almost warrants its own acting technique. Daniel and Amy Sherman Palladino's scripts are notoriously wordy, and as directors, they love things to be delivered at a breakneck tempo. On top of this, they also love doing oneers, so there is really no room for line flubs.
You can't just know your lines, you have to know them upside down and backwards and doing cartwheels at the same time. But when you do, when everyone does, and when all the pieces come together, when the camera dancing with the actors and in space is just right, it's magic.
Another style thing to note is that The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel shoots their actors wider than most shows, which means actors are allowed to emote bigger than what is generally considered acceptable for TV.
One of the cool things about working on Maisel, I think a lot of television shows in particular these days are shot in pretty tight shots. The close-up is kind of where you do most of your, deepest performance. And on Maisel, we almost never come in above the elbows. And so having worked in television for a number of years, it was a bit of an adjustment to learn how to use my whole body. Things that I thought were reading were just too subtle to be picked up in a shot that wide. And that sometimes I could move my face in a big way and it feels totally normal.
Now for the character of Midge specifically, Brosnahan watched a lot of female comics for research, but the two that she most frequently brings up in interviews are Jean Carroll and Ali Wong.
I watched a lot of Ali Wong and isn't she good? And I initially, when I first read the script, I know I told you guys this, but I thought for sure, 100%, that the character was based on Jean Carroll. And I watched a bunch of Jean Carroll, she wore beautiful pearls and dresses, and then I came to Amy all proud of myself, and I was like, I studied a lot of Jean Carroll, and she was like, what?
Don't do that.
You're playing my father. Jean. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out Midge Maisel is based on Amy Sherman Palladino's dad, not on Jean Carroll, but watching Jean Carroll helped Brosnahan nail the comic timing in her stand-up scenes. Moving on, I would be remiss if I didn't mention her warm-up, the reason I am doing this video. In her Cetaphil interview, she says, "There's a funny vocal warm-up for Brooklyn accents. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. What did she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I got a dead dog, a dumb daughter, and no coffee. And the Yankees lost the ball game." Yeah, if you cringed hearing me read that, so did I. It sounds utterly shite in my accent. But I think the more I rehearse it, the more I'm gonna get better at it. I am so proud of this background, by the way. It looks deceptively simple, but this was a bitch to make. It should not have taken this long to make this, but it fucking did. Anyways, if you're new here, I will do one take as a control with very little preparation, and then I will try Rachel Brosnahan's technique and come back and see if it helped. Who's ready for take one? We have a joint iCal so we can work out childcare. He basically just puts in his gigs. And when he puts in off, I know that the Lakers are playing, so I have to leave him alone to concentrate.
Hi, voiceover Ashley here, just chiming in to say that it's really weird doing stand-up with no audience. This take looks like I'm either bombing or like I'm maybe rehearsing for an empty room. Let me know what you think. Does it work? I mean, I've never done stand-up before, so I could be bombing.
An iCal notification from him pops up. Jack's wedding? Oh. I was immediately enraged! The idea that he will have an entire day off to go and watch this commitment ceremony? He isn't cool with committing, but he likes to go and watch other people do it? I was so upset, I deleted the notification. And then I thought, actually, I don't want any notifications from him ever again. And then I deleted the whole shared iCal. I felt empowered again.
Just coming in again to say that we did shoot this wider to mimic the style of the show. And that said, I don't think I have any issues shooting in this wide of a frame. I have a theater background, so using my whole body and being very expressive comes naturally to me. If anything, I'm usually told to tone it down and be smaller on camera. So this was kind of nice to engage with that side of performance.
The text, and it reads, Did you delete the iCal? So, what I didn't realize is that by deleting the shared iCal, I deleted all of Alfie's gigs. And those gigs were linked to his manager and all of the manager's other clients. And in order to recover the gigs, the manager would have to reset everyone's iCals, which would take many, many hours and many, many days. In short, I fucked up a lot of people's evenings because I was emotional and impulsive. I spent 2 hours on the phone with Apple support trying to get it fixed, but nothing worked. iCals won't take you back if you leave them.
Overall, not a bad take, but let's see what Brosnahan has in store for us.
So Rachel Brosnahan said that she is heavily inspired by Ali Wong and Jean Carroll. So I think I'm going to watch some YouTube clips of them right here on my phone.
My boyfriend eats gluten-free, so now I gotta eat all this bread that tastes like free-range Chewbacca. I said I'm not cooking 2 separate meals this afternoon.
So I feel like what I learned from watching those two stand-ups is that stand-up is really a communication between the audience and the comic, and it's really unfortunate that I'm doing this in like my dining room right now because there is no audience, but I guess in my mind's eye I should maybe picture an audience and the crowds laughing and finding me hysterical, and then maybe in post I'll add some canned laughter. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. What does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I got a dead dog, a dumb daughter, and no coffee. And the Yankees lost the ball game. I feel like that was pretty Maisel-y.
Hey, voiceover Ashley here. So basically I did the warm-up over and over again until it began to feel really natural in my voice. You will look kind of stupid doing this, but trust the process.
I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. Oh, what does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I turn English. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. What does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I got a dead dog, a dumb daughter, and no coffee. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. What does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I got a dead dog, a dumb daughter, and no coffee. I told my daughter not to feed the dog the coffee. What does she do? She feeds the dog the coffee. Now I got a dead dog, a dumb daughter, and no coffee. We have a joint iCal so we can work out childcare. He basically just puts in his gigs, and when he puts in off, the Lakers are playing, so I had to leave him alone to concentrate. To infiltrate his day, I sometimes add in loads of pretend events so that his phone gets bombarded, like Release adopted tiger. Worry about inevitable things. Seance with ancestors. An iCal notification from him comes up. Jack's wedding. Woo. I was immediately enraged. The idea that he will have an entire day off to go and watch this commitment ceremony. He isn't cool with committing, but he likes to go and watch other people do it. I was so upset, I deleted the notification. And then I thought, actually, I don't want to see any notifications from him ever again. And then I deleted the whole shared iCal. Oh, God. I felt empowered again. A couple hours later, I get a text from him. And my heart beats out of my chest and I think, oh my God, this is it. He's gonna say, I'm sorry, forgive me, I want just you and no one else. Let's be a family who'll go to the museum together, woo! Well, I open the text and it says, did you delete the iCal? So, what I didn't realize is that by deleting the shared iCal, I had deleted all of Alfie's gigs. And those gigs were linked to his manager. And all of the manager's other clients. And in order to recover the gigs, the manager would have to reset everyone's iCals, which would take many, many hours and many, many days. In short, I fucked up a lot of people's evenings because I was emotional and impulsive. I spent 2 hours on the phone with Apple support, but I couldn't fix it. iCals don't take you back if you leave them.
So I'm pretty happy with this take. I think that dialect warm-up is a big win. My New York accent was especially rusty. I did not realize how rusty it was. I used to work for a theater company where one of my characters had a Brooklyn accent, and I was doing that accent maybe 3 times a week. I haven't done it since the pandemic, since, the theaters are closed. We can't do live performances. So me coming into this, I didn't realize how rusty my accent was going to be. But that little warm-up is actually perfect for those little classic vowel sounds in the New York accent. Coffee, it's such a great way to get your mouth warmed into those vowels. I completely see why she would do that before going on to set. Now, let's separate the acting from the dialect. Is my acting any different from the other take, the first take? And I'm gonna say, yes, but no. I think my energy and my commitment is the same in both takes, and I think that's just due to the fact that I have a theater background, and I'm completely okay with being loud and shooting wide and using my whole body. I will say, watching with the sound off, I think I'm using my body more in this take, though, so that's something I didn't really consider, that there's maybe something about this accent where it gets you more into your body and more wanting to use your body and be expressive with it. So that's something I didn't consider. But look at me, I'm like flailing my arms around. I'm using my body so much. Overall, I think this technique is a win, and I can't wait to use this warm-up the next time I play a character from New York.
But I'm curious to know, which take was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click thumbs up and to click subscribe. And if you didn't enjoy this video, you can also click thumbs up and click subscribe. I'm an actor, so naturally I have very low self-esteem. Every little bit helps. But jokes aside, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!